YouTube, Down to Bricks and welcome to this city update. So today I want to take you through what all this skeleton woodwork is for, and today I'm going to reveal what one of the main features of the city is going to be, and that's right there. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But what I wanted to do today was really show you, as I call it, the skeleton of the levels. Now, it doesn't look like much, does it? But I've got to say, it takes a lot of work and a lot of measuring to make sure that you get everything right when it comes to laying your bricks down. So let's have a look at this little sunken section here. And I've got to give a shout out to my wife because, as I said in my previous videos, I wanted multiple different levels. And what I was going to do with this sunken level, I was actually going to leave that at the table height, and then I was going to run all new tabletops to get this sunken section. And I had a couple of different methods I was going to use. My wife was away one day and I was out here trying to work it all out, and I couldn't decide what to do. I thought, well, I'll wait till she comes home and I'll run through the two ideas I've got and see what she thinks. And as I'm going through it all, I'm talking to her and going, yeah, I might do this or I should do this. She said, why don't you just cut this tabletop and put a sunken section in underneath? I said, well, I've got this metal bar here, that would get in the way. She said, yeah, but you're going to run a train here, you're going to have a bridge there, can't you just incorporate that? And I'm like, oh my God, that is brilliant. That's going to save me so much work. So yeah, shout out to the missus for helping me out with that. So I've got this little sunken section. As I said, train's going to run here. It's a little bit wider than what I wanted it with this bar, but that's okay. I can make that work. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. As you can see here, if I put a base plate along here, so the bridge will be a base plate wide, a little bit wider than what I wanted it, but the train can run through here. It's dual tracks, and I can have a little pedestrian path or something on the side. So that is really cool. I'll wrap this in Lego so you won't see it, and I'll keep it a little bit thinner on the front side so you'll actually see the feature in underneath. So I won't reveal it just yet, but I think I've pretty much given it away if I'm going to have a bridge across it, what it's going to be. But I just wanted to talk about the levels and getting everything right. So this sunken section is 12 bricks. So I've got 12 bricks that come up nicely, and I can clip on to my rock section or whatever I'm going to put there, hint hint. So I've got 12 bricks high there. That little section there, that's exactly 6 bricks to the top there. From this tabletop to the top level is 40 bricks high, and from this piece of timber here to the top is 20 bricks high. So as I showed when I sort of did a little mock of how I'm going to lay it out, I've got all the big buildings along the top here. I haven't put into cement exactly what I'm doing with those buildings. I pretty much know exactly what's running here, but as for the Ghostbusters Headquarters, I'm not sure whether I'm going to put it up there or put it down here. I've still got to work that out. But basically, I know that this front section here is going to be full of modulars as well. So my plan is to have a big mountain ridge covering all that up. But instead of just having all bricks there and using a lot of bricks that aren't really going to be seen, because if I've got modulars right along there, you're not going to see them behind them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover that bottom section with some green felt. So if there's any little gaps or whatever, you won't really notice. It'll have the green felt behind it, and from there to the top I will cover with bricks. So what I'm going to do, I've got this little piece here. Let me just grab that and sneak it over here. And I reach over there and just put that in, just to give you an idea. Now, this was an old piece of mountain ridge that I had from the old city that I just took out, and I'm just using that. I won't have this section as detailed as that, not as many plants. I'll probably have it a bit plain, a bit more blocky on the bottom, and then the top section have a lot more detail, because that's what you'll see over the top of the modulars. But I'll have that running right along there. So I really have to nut out what I'm going to do here with the Ghostbusters Headquarters so I can make a start, put in to cement, like I said, make my final decisions what modulars are going there, so I know what sort of height I can expect to need to cover for this mountain ridge. And then I will have this mountain ridge running right along. What my plan is to actually, this is actually a little bit more than 20 bricks high, so I'm going to have this top section and it will actually overhang slightly the mountain ridge, so that will be a walkway in front of all the modulars that runs right along, and it will come right down to here, and it'll have a little lookout area or such, because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a waterfall. So it's going to be a river there to a waterfall running down to a big open water expanse here. So I've been working on a couple of techniques for waterfall. I don't want to skimp on it. I wanted to try and make it look really good. I've done some little samples of what I want to do, and it's really hard to picture those samples on a bigger scale. So I'm really hoping it works out. So I'm looking forward to giving that a crack. So again, a little walkway there, some lookouts, probably another lookout on this side. I'm going to have the Palace Cinema on this side, and I just want this nice open area. Now originally I wanted this water area to be bigger. I actually sort of wanted it to come out even bigger, but when you're looking, this is 2 base plates wide, by the way, so I can fit 2 base plates in there. If I come here, one, actually instead of doing that, let me grab another one. Sorry for the noise. 2. So there we have 2 base plates wide, and it will come from 1 base plate wide down to 2, and what I'll do is I'll just sort of edge it out slowly so it's not just that rigid area. Yeah, so I wanted to make it a little bit bigger, but if I'm going to cover all of this in tiles and make a really nice detailed water section, it's going to take a lot of parts, so I did limit myself on how big that's going to be. But the other reason is I want a nice big river section, I want nice big trees, I want to have park areas on both sides, and I really want to, yes, it's going to be a city, but I want to make it more of like a country type city. It's going to have its big buildings, but I want to have less grey in the city. I want less roads. I've actually thought about not having any roads at all, which kind of sounds a little bit crazy, but it's the sort of crazy thoughts I've been having. I want to make it a little bit different to what we normally see in a Lego city. So even with the mountains aren't going to be grey. The mountains are going to be green. We're going to have lots of foliage. We're going to have big trees. We're going to have lots of water. So that's what I'm going for the new city. So what I'm looking at here, so I've just put in, this track isn't going to look like this. I just put this here just to give me some idea. So we're going to have the train track here, going to have a nice tunnel opening here. But what I want is, I want it to be, when you look into the tunnel, I want it to be nice and dark. And as it is now, you're going to get lots of light coming in from behind. So I'm going to wrap the back of these with material, with block out material, black material, so when you look in there, it's nice and dark. I'll probably even have to paint that edge of that timber too if I want to get real pedantic. So when we come down to this side of the river, I haven't put in a piece of timber for my 20 blocks high here because I really don't know exactly what modulars and what it's going to look like on this side, so I've left that for now. What I did do is I kind of worked out with the Palace Cinema, it kind of went to the edge of that post there, and I thought that's where I'd cut that level off. But I decided to go a little bit further because that is kind of a wasted gap in behind there anyway, so it didn't hurt to cover that up. So I've gone basically another base plate and a bit. So whether I make that again another lookout area or something, I'm not quite sure, but again I'll have a nice big tunnel opening on that end as well. But yeah, whew, that was a lot of jabbering on. So that is my thoughts. What do you reckon about that? What do you reckon about a big waterfall in the city? I don't know if I've seen too many people with waterfalls in their city. I'd have to think about that a bit more, but I think that's going to be something a little bit different, something really cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to look at wrapping some of these areas, these back areas, with material. So along here, you're not going to see any of that, so that won't matter, but definitely on that end and this end, we need a bit of material. So let me go and do that now. Alright, so the material's up. Now, it certainly looks a lot better. I'm actually tempted to put it right along the back there, this black material, but once it's all covered with Lego, you're not going to see it, so I'm probably just being a bit pedantic if I cover that up. But here we go. So it's be nice and dark when you have the tunnel there now. So that's looking good. If we come down now, I've just got a bit of tape holding it on the wall there. If we come down this end, I didn't move the ladder, so that's in my way. We'll get to this. I've just put that there to show you. And look at that already. Look how dark it is in there. I mean, there's still plenty of light coming in from here, but check that out. Once all that's covered with Lego, woohoo, that's going to be nice and dark. And when the trains are coming out with their lights on, that's going to look pretty cool. Or when you can look down the tunnel and see the lights coming from down the back there, that's going to look pretty cool, isn't it? So, hey, I'm tripping over this ladder here. Let me get out of the way. I'm really happy with how the black material went. I'm not very happy with how this felt went at all. I don't like the look of that. But you can see what I'm trying to do here. You're not going to see it. The only thing is from the end here, you may see it a little bit. So, yeah, look, I'm not really sure. I mean, I probably don't have to put anything there, to be honest. But just in case there's a bit of a gap, I just didn't want it to stand out. So, you can see what I mean about the mountain ridge coming up. Let me get you a little bit more light in here so we can see that a bit better. Let's open that window a bit. There we go. So you can see how much is covered up by the modular. So like I said, I don't need to have a lot of detail there, especially when it's all modulars. As it comes down further to the end, I'd need a bit more detail for when you're going to be able to see in. If you're standing back over here, you'll be able to see in a little bit from the side, as you can see in a little bit there. So as I come down, I'll have to make sure that's some better detail on that mountain ridge. So I was actually thinking my other option here is maybe I keep the felt down that end where I'm definitely not going to see any of it, but maybe down this end I cut a plate and I put a plate there and use a plate, and then that way I could stick a few plants on it or whatever, and then as it comes down, build it into a full mountain ridge from there down. Yeah, so I may do that. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts are, and tell me all your thoughts about what I've talked about today. So sorry, this is another video where it's really just getting ideas out, getting some feedback from you guys. But the next video, we're going to get started. We're going to start putting some modulars in the city. I want to start getting some of that mountain ridge done, and hopefully we're not too far away from actually starting to get on to the waterfall and river section. So, as I said, any thoughts you have, please put it down in the comments below. I always love hearing from you guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more, you got to be subscribed to the channel. And when I do put a video up, hit that bell notification and you will get notified that I have actually put a video up. That works pretty good, doesn't it? Alright guys, a big thank you for taking the time to watch, and I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.